This is a podcast by the Straits Times.
Hello and welcome to When All This Is Over, a special Straits Times podcast brought to you by the National Arts Council. To comfort and uplift readers as the country emerges from the COVID-19 circuit breaker, we asked 20 local writers to come up with poetry and prose about the pandemic and what it will be like when all this is over. We will be releasing these over the next few weeks. This is the first of a 4-part series.
Cave Time by Thiam. My son Adam refused to come out of his cave for a whole day. Well, it's not a cave really, more like a tent built out of 2 chairs, a kid-sized bed sheet, and a dozen or so clothes pegs. He was upset and wanted to be left alone, he announced to us. The night before, we had watched a news report on TV, fully absorbed in the images of medical personnel clad in blue PPE suits, sticking long sticks deep into people's noses, patients lying on beds, their deathly pale faces mired in helpless misery. My son beside me had watched all this silently, and who knows what he had understood or not understood from what he had seen. "Do you want to come out?" I asked, kneeling beside the tent. Pikachu and his merry band of friends, Piplup, Sparky, and Togepi, playing all over the bedsheet in bright fiery colors. "No." Adam's voice, soft and reedy. "Can I come in?" "No." "Can I stay outside?" "Yes." I tried to lure Adam out with treats of ice cream, chocolate his favorite, and bags of Skittles candies, more playtime on my mobile, Roblox, 30 minutes max. But he remained firm, stoic, unconvinced. On the closed flaps of the entrance, he had hung a torn piece of cardboard with a warning, "Keep out, social distancing," below the marker pen words, a round skull with X's as eyes and mouth. Come out and play," I cajoled, in the scary voice of the big bad wolf. "No, it's dangerous." "No, it's not. I'm here. It's okay." "How do you know?" "It'll be over soon." "When?" "Very soon. You can go back to school again and see your friends." Nothing for my son. A pall of silence. "We can play badminton at the void deck when it's all over," I added. Adam made a vague noise behind the flaps, and then he retreated farther into his cave, his movements small, timorous. My 8-year-old son, born 6 weeks premature, weighed less than 2 kilos when he entered the world. In the incubator, he looked frail and Lilliputian, a bundle of loose skin folds and wrinkles, the tubes running out of his face and bodies like so many tentacles. My octopus son, I called him. He barely moved, only his chest, rising and falling in rapid tiny tremors, revealed the slightest sign of life. That night, outside my son's cave, I told him the amazing story of his birth. I couldn't tell whether he was listening, but I could sense his studied stillness behind the bedsheet. I told him about the incubator, how he had needed a machine to breathe, and how he had breathed. Like every mouthful was a deep gulp of fizzy Sprite, his favorite soft drink. My son broke into a laugh then, which sounded like a series of gassy hiccups. "So do you want to come out now?" I asked. "No." "Why not?" "The virus. It's out there." "Papa is here. I'll protect you, I promise." I attempted my best voice impression of Batman, low and gravelly. My son laughed again. That night, I stayed outside the tent, my son's cave, and told him all the stuff we would do once things got better. He would accompany me on my weekend runs, and I'd take him down to the playground to play more often. 4 times a week, my son added. We would go to the McDonald's at the park near our flat and order large fries that we would eat with our chocolate sundaes. We or I talked for a long time, and at some point, my son must have fallen asleep on the other side of the tent, his breathing soft but audible behind the bedsheet, mere centimeters from me. In the morning, I woke up with a start and saw that one of the flaps of the tent was lifted. I crawled to the entrance, hoping to catch my son sleeping inside. The cave was dim and silent and empty. No one was in there. My son, free and awake, wherever he was, had finally come out of the cave.
Our Gardens, Our Homes by Christine Chia. When all this is over, gardening will become sexy again. It's always been sensuous, but now it's necessary. Sunlight and fresh air are natural disinfectants, and in the schools of tomorrow, I imagine gardening co-curricular clubs will gradually supplant choirs. Unless choirs can still perform when each member is distanced 7 meters from another, as that's the viral radius of a sneeze. Some of our brightest minds will set up agribusinesses instead of working for banks or hedge funds. Instead of working 70-hour weeks in carbon-guzzling skyscrapers, our bright young things work under the open sky, and sometimes in greenhouses, getting fit without going to the gym. Instead of volunteerism, our best students will cultivate plant exchanges with their regional counterparts. Especially talented youth gardeners will form a new specialization in the Army, that of gardeners. It will be 2 such gardeners who patent the best durian hybrid ever, fleshy, like the Thai variety, but with the bittersweet bouquet of the Malaysian durian. Their company, however, decides to list on the Shanghai Stock Exchange, despite years of steadfast research and development support from the Singapore government. The founders and their team will instantly become semi-billionaires on the first day of trading. Chinese tourists thought nothing of flying to Pahang just for the best durians, until they couldn't because the great airspace of China was grounded. The dashed dreams of millions of Chinese durian lovers will be revived when production of the green gold is granted to Hainan Island. It will be the final sweetener for the new free trade agreement between China and Singapore. When this is over, 1,000 gardening clubs will bloom, and they will bolster our food security. People will be queuing at IKEA again, but masked and socially distanced. Not for meatballs or chicken wings, but for the special edition gardening tools. We will have gardening channels, podcasts, YouTubers, and Instagrammers. Hashtag POTD, Plant of the Day, will rival OOTD, Outfit of the Day, for hashtag supremacy. Gardeleisure will be the fastest growing category of clothing, not athleisure. Sales of extra strength sunblock will soar naturally. Bees will no longer be endangered once we stop mowing down the wild grasses and flowers. Singapore will even export honey to Malaysia. Beekeeping will be the new yoga and replace half the hot yoga studios in Singapore because being in the bee suit works up a sweat too. When this is over, there will be a mushrooming of garden makeover shows. People with black thumbs will be subtly shamed for killing their plants. Horticulturalists or plant doctors will set up shop in the heartland, like general practitioner clinics for sick plants. They will have tie-ups with veterinary clinics because pet stool samples are excellent fertilizers. When this is over, housing agents will highlight the plot ratio of a condo's garden, not the swimming pool or pools. Developers will jettison bay windows for balconies, and the east-west orientation of a home and how much sunlight it gets will become selling points, not liabilities. There will be a new crest of condos riding the green wave, with names invoking gardens, naturally, flowers, trellises, vines, but never soil.
Copper by Marc Nair. In those days of unguarded moments, thieves slipped from shadow to cut holes in fences, punching through asbestos and emptied classrooms to pull hallways of copper wire from false ceilings. They coiled the copper around the broken heart of unpaid rent and the absence of birdsong, rolled the drums down empty roads towards the lost port, stopping only for sunrise. Copper became a dishonest conductor of greed, its rust-orange luster and electric shame, metaphor for what had been stripped from the world. We became borders around ourselves, masking the invisible. Only our eyes said goodbye for missing hours, for gasping patience in billionaire islands. In abandon, we had nothing fit for a eulogy. There are streets where nobody lives now, and we may no longer love in the same ways. If we do touch, be fierce, write longing into each moment, wind around me like copper until something sparks again.
Extra Time, TM, by Clara Chow. Dear valued customer, thank you for your feedback. We understand you are not completely satisfied with the first half of 2020. As such, we would like to offer you a time refund. This extra time will be tacked onto the end of your natural lifespan, giving you a full 6 months more life. Life Extra Time, TM, also comes with a special feature. You can choose to either take it and embody the age you are at now, or any other age, subject to first come first served availability, technical specifications, and approval from next of kin / caregivers / legal guardians. This special feature, above and beyond what customers are requesting, is a gesture of goodwill to thank you for being such big fans of living. In order to qualify for an extra time TM refund, you will need to sign up on our website, http://www.refundgowhere.com. Our online form will be up from June 2nd, 2020 to redacted. Please note that owing to severe backlog, we will not be able to respond immediately or forever to your queries. Due to time travel switching and phase 1 of ETTM kicking in, some employees taking ET might have reverted to infants. You might be required to fill up and submit the form more than once, or a million times. Please also note that our form may take up to 6 months to complete. We will also need your SingPass as ETTM requires us to comply with income tax, CPF, and SkillsFuture anti-fraud measures. To safeguard privacy, we have partnered Google AdSense. If you are choosing ETTM's whatever age feature to be of school-going age again, we will need to enroll you in your original school, along with a time travel anti-tamper TTAT true copy of all your tests and exam results. A TTAT marriage certificate is also necessary to avoid customers attempting to use ETTM to change their spouses. Please have all these documents ready before you file your application. Good news! You can opt to speed up form filling with our new Auto Form NAF service. NAF will take all the guesswork and hassle out of ETTM refunds for you. Available for a low introductory price of $9.99 until redacted. A limited number of fee waivers is available. Sign a consent form here and tick Yes next to the box that says, I allow the corporation to embed happy memories and positive associations with all its products and partners in my cyberbrain during ETTM. This agreement will take effect from August 9th, 2069 forwards and backwards, persisting into the afterlife, TM. At the Time Universe Life and Network Corporation, your well-being is our number one priority. We sincerely apologize for how lousy 2020 has been so far. It has not been our intention to push out an annual unit that has fallen so short of expectations. We have issued our Nostradamus Super Event Generator disciplinary warnings and will retire it to play chess with Deep Blue. We will also be upgrading our Reality Fabric RF in stages from financial year 2021 to provide you with a better user experience. Our motto at our time division has always been to pass quickly, unnoticeably. We are truly sorry that because of our shortcomings, you've had to stay home and try to kill us. We have passed slowly, discernibly. For that, we humbly apologize. We urge you to take up our generous refund offer. However, we are aware it might not be enough. For long-suffering customers grappling with unresolved anger and trauma, we offer yet another initiative, the Terminate End User Raffle, TER. This is a chance to nominate end users whom you feel have been responsible for making 2020 worse. We will conduct a random draw of nominees and announce one of them as recipient of a one-time subtract time procedure. More details of this exciting contest will be released at a later date. Once again, we would like to thank you for being a loyal customer of Time. We hope you are pleased with our package. The last time a deal as enticing as this was offered, the corporation had given lifetime water rebates to victims of the flood. Best of luck, and we look forward to your continued business. Yours faithfully. No signature required, auto-generated.
I tried to imagine the future, but all I could think about was the texture of skin, by Stephanie Chan.
We will step outside and hold hands with people we do not live with, leaning against fitness corner monkey bars. We will meet our friends again, wrap our arms around them, and realize we have forgotten how hugs are supposed to end. We will remove our masks and kiss in the middle of zebra crossings. Drivers will honk their horns not out of rage, but joy. We will sit in crowded cinemas, watching a movie picked at random for the sheer pleasure of hearing strangers crunching buttered popcorn all around us. When all this is over, maybe we'll say good morning to our neighbors, ask if they slept well. First out of fear and then because we genuinely like them. When all this is over, we'll remove our masks, taste the air for the first time in months and see ourselves, see this city for what we really are. When all this is over, may we never walk past another new building without wondering how the people who put it together are doing. Maybe we'll finally stop mistaking compassion for compromise, inequality for inevitable, but never stop questioning. When all this is over, I hope we remember the ways that we cared, everything we redistributed, everything we wouldn't settle for, what we demanded, everything that we shared, how we kept one another alive, and realize that all this was just a beginning. When all this is over, we'll step outside and hold hands with people we do not live with.
Thank you for listening to When All This Is Over, a special Straits Times podcast brought to you by the National Arts Council. For more local digital arts offerings, visit a-list.sg to appreciate #SG culture anywhere.
That was an SPH podcast by the Straits Times. Find us on Spotify, Apple or Google Podcasts, or streaming on Google Home. Do feedback to us at podcast@sph.com.sg. You can also check out more podcasts on various topics at the Straits Times, the Business Times, and Money FM 89.3.